Before we begin, I want to take a moment to tell you what these Friday episodes are and what they're not. These aren't recaps, they're not summaries, and they're not here to give you more to do. These episodes exist because insight doesn't always land cleanly. And sometimes something resonates and also unsettles you. Sometimes clarity brings relief and grief. And Friday reflections are a place to slow that down, to let what you heard earlier in the week settle, not just in your mind, but in your body. You don't need to listen perfectly. You don't need to take notes, and you don't need to figure anything out. This is just a small pause, a place to breathe, a place to stay with yourself while you're changing. No urgency, no fixing, just noticing. Before we begin, let's take a breath together. If you listened to Tuesday's episode about following a calling you can't explain yet, I'm guessing something landed for you. Maybe you're feeling that pull towards something and you've been trying to find the perfect words to justify it to everyone in your life. Or maybe you've already tried to explain it and the questions made you feel like you had to defend something that should just be allowed to exist. Today, we're going deeper into what happens when you stop explaining and start trusting. Because here's what I didn't say on Tuesday that I want you to hear. You don't owe anyone a dissertation on your dreams. Let's talk about it. If you haven't listened to Tuesday's episode yet, here's why you need to. We talked about what I call the pull you can't explain or the inarticulate calling, that compulsion towards something new that doesn't come with a 5-year plan or a clear ROI. I shared my story of becoming a certified life coach while working full time and writing romance novels on the side, and how everyone in my life wanted me to explain why. Why was I adding more? Why wasn't what I already had enough? What was I trying to prove? And I couldn't answer them, not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't know yet. The answers only came through doing the work, not before it. Here's what we covered. The 3 phases of following a calling you can't explain. The compulsion, when you feel it but can't articulate it. The resistance, when everyone demands justification. The clarity, when the answers emerge through the doing. What people's questions really mean, and spoiler alert, it's usually not about you. It's about your growth forces them to look at it in themselves and what to actually say when people demand explanations you don't have. If you're in the middle of this right now, and if there's something pulling at you and you're exhausted by the thought of having to defend it, Tuesday's episodes will give you language for that and for what you're experiencing and permission to stop justifying yourself. Go listen after this if you haven't heard it yet. It's the full breakdown. Today, I want to give you something practical to carry with you into next week. Here's what I wish someone had told me when I was in the thick of trying to explain my coaching certification to everyone. The people who need you to explain it will never fully understand it anyway, because understanding doesn't come from explanation. It comes from witnessing. When I tried to justify why I was pursuing coaching, my words didn't change anyone's mind. But when I actually did the work, when I showed up differently in my life, when I started helping other women navigate their own transformations, that's when people started to get it. Not because I had finally found the right explanation, because they could see the change. So here's the permission I'm giving you today, and the permission I need you to give yourself. You're allowed to start before you can explain it. You're allowed to say, I don't know where this is going, but I know I need to follow it. You're allowed to disappoint people who want to stay the same. You're allowed to want more, even when you already have enough. And you're allowed to trust yourself more than you trust their confusion. The pull you're feeling, that's not random. That's not a midlife crisis. That's not self-indulgence. That's your life trying to expand. Here's what I want you to try this week. Notice when you're performing justification, when you catch yourself over-explaining, building a case, trying to make someone understand why you want what you want. And instead of continuing down the path, just pause. Ask yourself, am I explaining this because I need clarity or because they need reassurance? If it's the second one, if you're trying to make them comfortable with your growth, you can stop. You can say something simple like, I'm still figuring it out, but it feels right. Or I don't have all the answers yet, but I trust myself with this. Or even, I know it doesn't make sense from the outside, but it makes sense to me. And then let the silence sit. You don't have to fill it with more justification. You don't have to convince them. You don't have to make it okay for them. Your job is to trust yourself. Their job is to decide whether they can support you anyway. That's it. That's the practice. If you missed Tuesday's episode, go back and listen. It's called Why You Don't Need to Explain Your Midlife Dreams and What to Say When They Ask. It'll give you the full framework for navigating the season when the pull is strong, but the words aren't there yet. And if you've been sitting on something, if there's a class you want to take, a project you want to start, a direction you want to explore, and you've been waiting for permission or the perfect explanation, this is me telling you, you don't need either one. You just need to trust yourself enough to take the first step. If you're ready to stop justifying and start moving, grab the Midlife Reinvention Starter Guide from the show notes. It's free and it'll walk you through the questions that help you get clear on what's calling you, even when you can't explain it to anyone else yet. And if this reflection helped you today, would you share it? Text it to a friend who's been trying to explain dreams to people who don't get it. Sometimes we just need someone to say, you don't owe them an explanation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting yourself, even when no one else understands it yet. I'll see you Tuesday. This is Kylie with the Joy Shift Podcast. Okay, here's what I have to say to make the lawyers happy. The Joy Shift Podcast with Kylie Suarez shares my personal views and the experiences of my guests. It's meant for inspiration and conversation, not medical, psychological, or financial advice. Everyone's situation is different. Before making any big changes in your life, talk with your healthcare provider, mental health team, financial advisor, or another qualified professional. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Always choose what's right for you.